Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm glad you're all here. First thing I wanted to do is do a quick shout out and thank you to all the channel members. Thank you guys and gals. I appreciate you more than you know. And thank you to anybody who comes through to watch the knife, the EDC content. I appreciate you guys. If you haven't had a chance yet, and you're so inclined, if you hit that subscribe button and that bell notification icon, it'll really help me out. So today, I wanted to talk about some full-size knives, actually my top 5 full-size knives currently in my collection. And I wanted to start off by showing off this TwoSun, because this is a TwoSun. I don't remember the number, but it's on washers. It's fantastically done, and it has a Satu Dave regrind, which is probably one of the sliciest knives in my collection now, even though it's one of the bigger ones. So this is a full-sized knife, the type of knife we're talking about. Whoops, that's my cutting falling short. But so talking about full-size knives, but still very pocketable knives. Still very much gentleman's folders, not super thick. And we're going to start out, because we'll probably end up with 6 instead of 5, but I'm going to start out with this Microtech Ram Lok Stitch. This knife is definitely one of the sharpest knives in my collections. It came from the factory, extremely sharp, like a laser beam. It is a full-size knife, i.e., we'll get a quick, what does a full-size knife mean to Javon? We will say it is around right under 9 inches, 8 3/4 or over, we'll say. So this is right around 8 3/4, a little bit larger than 8 3/4, but it's very ergonomical. It fits my medium to large size hand very well. It carries in the pocket very well. It goes in and out of pocket with nobody's business. The clip works very well, goes in and out of my jeans pocket, again, without any struggle whatsoever. So it's got contoured handles, making it, I think, even more pocketable, more carryable. And it's got a very utilitarian, very pokey, very aggressive tip, very nice blade. You've got 3 1/4 inches cutting area, a little over 3 1/2 inch blade, and you've got a handhold, easy 5 1/2 inches. So from here to here, you've got 5 1/2 inches, and this for me would make a full-size knife. So coming in at number 5 would be our Microtech Ram Lok Stitch with aluminum handles, which brings us to number 5. And this is also number 5. This is my OG Grant gripper. It's also 8 3/4 inches overall. Mine's got super solid lockup. It is a multi-deployment, wickedly sharp splinter picker of a knife. It has got a rear flipper, a front flipper, whoops, and then it's got the deployment hole, all of which are money. The D10 on this knife, I'll bring it up here. It's got some of the best snap, some of the best detent in the game in my collection. It has ergonomics that just work. A lot of people talk about frag pattern. I like frag pattern because to me it's additional grip. The gripper is a grippy knife. You've got this 3 1/4 inch jimped back spacer, this jimping on the blade. I think the frag and the forward choil feel fantastic. This knife is a laser beam, and it's also would put your eye out if you weren't careful. Very sharp, very pokey, very stabby, very nice. Coming in at number 5, in our top 5 full-size knives, we have the Jason Grant Gripper Brass Brigade's gripper, the OG gripper. Which brings us to number 4. Probably one of the best knives in my collection, and I had to say this is a full-size knife. You guys might disagree with me and say it's not a full-size knife, but again, in comparison to what I carry on the daily, this is definitely a full-size knife. It's got skiffs in it, which means it's got extra oil, because I do that, right? This guy's going to come in right at 8 1/4, right? So it's not quite 9 inches, but it's still got 3.5 inch blade, right under 3.5 inch blade, with an every bit 3 1/4 inch cutting area. Has a very well defined, well laid out grip area. Fits my hand fantastically well. The Padrè actually has some of the best detent in the game. I've always thought KunWu does a frame lock exceptionally well, and this is no exception to that rule. You've got this Van X blade, which is a laser beam. Super slicey. I got the stone-washed titanium. This has since been released with the DLC-coated titanium. Those should be shipping out soon. They've also got it in satin that looks very, very nice. I'm real pleased with really any finish because the design of the knife, to me, is just executed so well. The detent is done so well. This one's riding on skiffs. It is just a flipping dream, guys. And this is the KunWu Padrè, coming in at number 4 on my top full-size knives, which will bring us to number 3. Guys, this is the best WE that I've come into contact with yet. And I will put it in my full-size list because when I carry it compared to other knives, this is definitely a full-size knife, even though it's very thin, very narrow, very elegant, kind of like a gentleman's folder almost, but it's a full-size knife. So if we get a dimension on this guy, we will learn that it's right at 8.5 inches. It has got 3.5 inch blade, 3.5 inch cutting area, really nice forward finger choil, running on WEs. You've got a rear flipper, so this does have a traditional flipper tab. It's a low profile flipper tab with a couple of jips right there. Works very, very well. And then it has this reverse finger flick, which, guys, listen to the detent on this. I don't know if you can hear the crispness of that, but it just locks into that stop pin. It just hammers into it. This is the WE Nefaris. I don't know if I called it the Fortis earlier. If I did, it's the Nefaris. It's the full-size knife, and it is definitely the favorite WE to come down the pipe for me. And it is coming in at number 3 on my top 5 full-size knives, which brings us to number 2. And number 2 is nothing more than an elegant full-size folder that just kills, I think, on all areas, both being elegant, premium materials, a little over 8 1/4 inches, 3.5 inch blade, 3.5 inch cutting area. This is the full-size Liong field duty folder. It is a flipper or flicker hole only knife, which means you can thumb flip it, slow roll it, reverse finger flick it. I take that back. It also has a top flipper, which I'm not good at, especially under the camera, but this does have a top flipper if that's your game. It's not mine, and I don't think I have enough space to really get it here. Let's see. Nope, but I never use it. I use the reverse finger flick or slow roll it out. It's S90V. It is some of the most beautiful fat carbon I've seen, the Arctic fat carbon. Titanium bolsters, titanium clip, mega slicey. A designed cutter. This is a function follows form knife where I think Liong designed a cutter. When he first designed this knife, the blade is very elegant. It's very utilitarian. It is wide, it's tall, it's a flat grind, comes down to a super keen edge. The S90V is just wonderful. I love the belt satin. It's just been a joy of a knife. And coming in at number 2, ergos to die for, action to die for, we've got the Liong Field Duty Folder. Which brings us to my number 1, full-size folding knife that I still love to carry, but it is definitely a full-size knife. And this is my Custom Knife Factory Evo 3.0 that I picked up from Brother Carco. It has an amazing pill-shaped opening hole that I just love because it grabs my finger. It has some of the best action of any knife I've experienced. Has probably one of the most comfortable grips of anything I've experienced. It is going to come in overall right around 8.5 inches, 4-inch blade. Guys, it is just cash money on every single area. I love it. I love the black wash blade. I did get into it a little bit with some slurry when I sharpened it up, but it's a user for me, and I wanted to make sure the edge was as sharp as it could be, and it is. And it is just an absolute winner. Carry it all the time. Love the action. Know that if I'm not careful, it will cut into my thumbnail. It's perfectly centered. Put a little Loctite in it after I skiffed it up. And this, guys, is just a win. The other thing that makes this knife so one-of-a-kind special are these beautiful fat carbon fiber scales that were put in by none other than Brother Bill ProX. Did those for Carco before he sold it to me. So I love the knife. I love everything about it. Number 2, we've got our Liong Field Duty Folder. Number 3, we have got our Nefaris folder. Number 4, we have our KunWu Padrè. And number 5, we have our Wicked Warncliffe Grant Gripper. And then we had another number 5 in our Microtech Stitch. And then we were showing off the Satu grind on this wicked full-size D2 TwoSun that comes in under $100, or right under $110 on washers. So guys, those are my top 5 +1 folders. I hope y'all found this entertaining, informative, goofy, somehow worth watching. Appreciate it if you did. Hope you did. I do ask, if you would, please look out for that guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. And always, when at all possible, please choose debate, not hate. I love you all. I wish y'all a fantastic day. And until we meet again, which will hopefully be soon, I want to give you guys peace.